RBIs for Cheyenne Lindsay. Everybody got in on the action. They scored 17 runs in that game, 17 RBIs. It was a big turnaround from game one where they only had that one hit.
And Mary Wilson Avant will be in the circle today. That one hit was a 2-run home run, but Georgia came back with her in the circle, picked up that victory on Saturday night. She's set to go here to close out the series on a Monday.
Yeah, more of a pitch-to-contact type pitcher. She's not going to have a ton of strikeouts, had those 3 walks. But what she did so well was mix her other pitches with her changeup. It was her changeup that kept Florida off balance all game long. She threw it on any count.
Hannah Adams steps in. The first pitch from Avant is in there for strike one. 79 degrees, clear skies in Athens as we get Monday Night Softball on the SEC Network underway. Adams at 457 leading the team in hitting. Eccles and Lindsay combining for 10 RBI in putting those 17 runs on the board yesterday. Adams with a perfect bunt for a leadoff single for Florida.
It's a good idea by Hannah Adams and a tool that we haven't seen her use in this series really at all, just using the hard ground out there in the Georgia infield, being able to leg out an infield single with a beautiful bunt.
Adams has her second hit of the series, now 2 for 6. She stretches her on-base streak to 16 games, and now bring up Kendall Lindemann, who takes strike one.
You know, the unique part about Mary Wilson Avant, we put it on her scouting report, is that she has a unique ability to go east and west with her curve and screw, and she can also mix in north and south with her rise and drop. Rise ball being there, she's very comfortable working both ways. Truly a pitcher that feels comfortable to throw each pitch in any count, something that she works hard in the fall at practice and live scrimmages to be able to do that, specifically with her changeup.
12-2 on the season as Lindemann lifts it into shallow right. Coming on is Jaden Fields for out number 1. Chambly, Kearney, and Fields in the outfield from left to right here this evening in Athens. And the familiar look in the infield as well with Sykes, Armistead, Kuma, and Fincher, with Peyton Bordeaux catching Avant. Here's Charlotte Eccles at 364 on the season, and she takes ball 1.
Charlotte Eccles just such a complete hitter for this Florida team. Only struck out 1 time all season. She's such a tough out.
Rip foul. It's 1-1. You saw that Eccles home run earlier. 6 home runs now in the season. The 5 RBI yesterday. 1-1 count right now, but you were really right on top from the start about that 2-strike approach that they had at the plate yesterday against Georgia, Amanda.
Yeah, and it started with a 2-strike home run by Eccles in the first inning on a 2-2 count. In fact, both home runs in the first inning were with 2 strikes. And I'll one-up you. All 3 of their home runs that they've hit in this series have been with 2 strikes. So, especially yesterday, doing a good job with 2 strikes and just really competing in their at-bats.
I've been one-upped in the top of the first. You wasted no time. 2-1.
It is the
off
top
speed,
of the first,
2-2.
right? So
yeah, that gives me plenty of time
line.
it gives me plenty of time to come up with a rebuttal. And here is a 2-2 count on Eccles. Avant struck out 6 in the win on Saturday night. And she'll have to do something very rare if she's going to get her first strikeout of this game, as Amanda mentioned, is Eccles just with the 1 strikeout this season.
It's a nice job by Bordeaux back behind the plate, knowing that Hannah Adams has some wheels over there at first base to keep that changeup in front of her. Good take by Eccles to push this to a full count.
Florida not too aggressive on the base pass, 31 of 33 in the season. Adams 5 for 5. Eccles lifts one deep to right field, and she has done it again. A 2-run shot for Charla Eccles, 2-0 Gators.
Another two-strike home run for Florida. Charlotte Eccles gets a pitch that is elevated, had a lot of plate, and it was because she worked it to a full count. She made Mary Wilson Avant come more on the plate. She took some balls and she made her come closer to the strike zone to be able to get one that she could elevate out of here for another two-run home run in the first inning.
Well, not only is she very difficult to strike out, she stays aggressive with the two strikes, and for the second game in a row, it's a home run to get Florida started. The two-run shot came in the first yesterday that scored Lindemann. This two-run shot scores Adams, who got things going with a bunt single, and for the third game in a row, Amanda, 2-0 lead for Florida.
All by two-run home runs, too.
Julia Cottrell, who went back-to-back with Eccles yesterday to get things going for the Gators. Cottrell 1 for 5 in the series. That one hit, the home run yesterday, has scored 3 runs. Called a strike, it's 2-2.
The ball really just does have a tendency to fly out of here. I just feel like every game I watch here, every game I call here, you just see a lot of home runs.
Three-two. Cottrell's aboard with one down here in the first.
That was the difference too, I think, from Florida in game 1 versus Florida in game 2. Yeah, they were facing a different pitcher. Mary Wilson Avant didn't throw game 2. She did throw game 1, but they stayed more in their strike zone. They went deeper into counts. They really challenged the pitchers of Georgia to throw a strike. I mean, and you're used to seeing Florida do that, have a high on base percentage, have a really good idea and understanding of the strike zone, and take close pitches. They put so much pressure on a pitcher to throw strikes and come more on the plate.
That wasn't the sharpest game for Florida on that Saturday night in game 1. They came in with a 4-game winning streak. They were playing well. They were playing ahead. Yet they had couple of mental errors in that game, scored error in that game, couldn't hold on to a 2-0 lead, ended up losing 4-2. Just wasn't the usual tight operation that we've become so accustomed to seeing for Tim Walton's teams. I think they cleaned it up a little bit on Sunday, without question. And the first pitch runs inside after the circle visit, as Goddard is hit by a pitch, first and second with one out.
Just trying to work the inside corner. Like with their drop ball, it's going to get her back knee. Goddard's going to be able to take first base.
Here's Jamie Hoover. Hoover takes ball 1. Hoover 296 on the season, a couple of home runs, 12 runs batted in. Has scored 3 runs in the series, 1 for 4, was 1 for 2 yesterday with a couple of walks. Good pitch, it's 1-1.
Yeah, there's that changeup that we saw her throw in game 1. She could throw it for a strike through the zone. She could throw it out of the zone and get some Florida chases.
Avant went the distance in the Saturday win, gave up just the 1 hit, a couple of runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts through 109 pitches. Georgia did pitcher by committee yesterday with 6 different pitchers throwing in that run rule win for Florida.
Just couldn't find that one just shut down pitcher that could come in and just get some quick outs. Florida battled, no doubt, but Georgia pitching definitely had struggles for strike zone. And for Mary Wilson Avant, you're sitting dugout thinking, all right, We've got to face the same team and pitch against them tomorrow. They just scored 17 runs. The other pitchers behind me didn't look real sharp. You could feel a lot of pressure if you're Min Avant.
That misses, pops out of the glove. Lacey Fincher and Fields swapping spots in the lineup. Sarah Mosley, Peyton Bordeaux moves up from the number 9 spot. Kearney Chambly and Ellie Armistead, the freshman shortstop, batting 9th against the 3rd different starter this weekend for the Gators. Katie Chronister getting the start for Florida.
Chronister is going to come from the left-hand side and work more down the zone, oftentimes forcing some ground balls. And she'll not only work down, but she has that kind of lefty curve too that she'll work inside to righties and away from lefties. Mid to high 60s, she'll throw with some velocity. You gotta rely on that reliable defense that she has behind her with such a good fielding percentage.
This is for a ball to Kuma at 309 on the season, 1 for 5 in the series. Chronister's 13th appearance and her 5th start, 5-1 with a 2.06. 32 strikeouts and 34 innings of work. Opponents hitting 175 against the 5th year from Gainesville.
It's nice to be able to show 3 different starters for Florida. It's not something you get to see all too often these days, is to be able to bring somebody in game 1, bring a different look in game 2, and an even different look in game 3. It's kind of what makes their pitching staff so unique. Hightower has had a tremendous year, but so was Natalie Lugo, and so is Katie Chronister.
Ground ball to deep short. That's Longley throwing across and picked by Gels, one away.
It's a nice play by Longley to move into the hole, but an even better pick by Avery Gels at first base. Wow, what good hands at first base that she had. What good glove to be able to just grab that short hop and save Longley for an errant throw.
Amanda mentioned it. Fielding percentage excellent for Florida, 981. That's 2nd in the SEC, just barely. 16 errors. They've made 1 error in this series. And Longley has started all 3 games of the series at shortstop. Savannah Sykes sliced out towards right center and all the way to the wall. Sykes heading into second base. It's a 1-out double for the junior, her 3rd hit of the series.
The Georgia righties oftentimes like to use the right side of the field. Even on inside pitches, you'll see them get on plane early and stay on a pitch and drive it the opposite way. Double for Savannah Sykes, who had a couple of hits in game 1 too. She's been seeing the ball well.
And if you haven't been with us through the whole series, this is a righty-dominated lineup for Georgia, Amanda.
Yeah, it is. You're going to see a lot of right-handed hitters, just the one lefty and Sydney Chamley. And they have a lot of power too, Eric. One of the best home run hitting teams in the SEC.
48 home runs as a team, tied for 4th in the conference. Jane Fields on an 8-game hitting streak, couple of hits in this series at 362, steps in with 1 out, and Sykes at second.
Coach Tony Baldwin told us that the pandemic was really a game changer for Jaden Fields. Spent a lot of time with her brother, Justin Fields, and just really committed herself to get healthy, feel fit, and just feel good about herself. So she took that momentum and the hard work that she put into the pandemic and brought it into season.
Justin's watching tonight. Hello. Good luck at the draft. Your sister's hitting 3rd for Georgia today. Another one to the shortstop Longley. On the first. Holding at second is Sykes. 2 away.
Good location off the inside corner to be able to jam Fields and just have an easy ground ball to the left side. And because that ground ball was in front of Savannah Sykes, she's unable to advance 60 feet.
I'll bring up Lacey Fincher in the cleanup spot today, leading the team in homers and RBI. Takes ball one from Chronister. Chronister's last appearance was last Saturday against LSU. Got the start, went 3 1/3, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs. Got off to a great start this season. 26 1/3 scoreless innings to start the year. Natalie Lugo got the start yesterday, went 5, gave up 3 hits, 1 run, didn't walk anybody, struck out 4, and just needed 65 pitches in the run rule win.
You know, Katie Chronister is a pitcher for Florida who's just grown every single year that she's been a part of the program. She's finally healthy, and they were able to simplify things for her. Instead of having 5 pitches, just getting down to 2 or 1 that she can rely on. It's that pitch right there. It's definitely a strike. I think Fincher wanted to get down to first base, but painted the corner beautifully on that inside corner. But when you simplify things and you don't try to throw 6, 7 different pitches, but you throw to your strengths, you can feel confident and just own those strengths.
Another busy half inning for her.
Different tonight. You can tell they had a look at her, probably looked at film, already given up 3 earned runs, no strikeouts so far, already had a couple of walks tonight.
And getting a necessary assist apparently from Lacey Fincher. Everything seems to be okay now with the hair, and we're ready to go.
I think there might have been a bug or something. I don't know.
That could have been why the 3 runs were scored in the first inning. If you only knew. Down low to Lindsay to lead things off here. Had a great game yesterday for Florida. Cheyenne was 3 for 4 with the 5 runs batted in. Now at 398 on the season.
There's that changeup. So many tools and so much speed out of Cheyenne Lindsay. She does hit in that 9 spot, but could easily hit leadoff, hit your 2 spot. I mean, I feel like she could even hit 3, 4 if you wanted her to. Truly a hitter who can do it all. And a player too, Eric, you'll hear about this a lot. She actually tore her ACL the summer before her freshman year, just less than a month before heading to Gainesville. So she had to miss a season, and then of course there was that shortened season with COVID where she was off to a really good start after rebounding from rehabbing that ACL tear. But just, you hear those stories all throughout our sport of injuries that players are able to come back from. And I know there's a lot of young players who watch these games, and they can serve as inspiration to those players.
Ground ball to second. Kuma gets Lindsay. Well, I think maybe the biggest lesson is to be patient if you have an injury. I mean, we've talked about it with both teams, like Ellie Armistead, the shortstop for Georgia. She had an ACL injury in high school, and for so many high school kids who then lost their senior year of high school because of COVID, and then all of a sudden you're being thrown into college softball. Trying to be patient and not hoping and working towards healing things right away. It's a long process, but if you're patient and you go through it all, that hard work pays off, as we've seen with Lindsay.
Yeah, I completely agree. Being patient is so big. And then finding different things to learn while you're injured, because having been somebody who has been injured before, you look at the game a little bit differently. As Lindsay ran down the line, just didn't seem
a little
quite 100%.
gingerly walking back. Yeah. Adams slaps it out the left, 2 down.
But I think that's really how you can grow is mentally. Physically, do what you can to try to stay in shape and try to stay in game shape. But mentally, you can start to look at the game differently, start to look at your position and kind of see the sport from the outside looking in instead of the inside looking out, which is 2 very different perspectives.
Lindemann takes a strike. So when you were injured, are you a patient person by nature, or were you impossible to be next to in the dugout or wherever you were watching a game when you were injured?
I was patient because I knew that I would be done. I would probably have been impatient if it would have happened like my freshman year or my sophomore year, but to me it happened my senior year, career-ending foot injury in February, so I knew that there was no way I was going to get back on the field. So I could really just settle into my role and own it and be there for my team.
Yeah, it was different for you. You know, you could be as patient as you want, but you had a career-ending foot injury, and that was hard news to hear, but there was a finality to it. Sad to say. I'm not trying to bring up bad memories, but
no,
you've gone through something that a lot of people have had to go through, and just have it just end abruptly like that.
It can be one of the worst, yes, yet one of the best things to ever happen to you if you let it work out that way. If you fight it and have why me and being negative, I mean, anything's going to seem like a downer if you have that mentality in life, but just have to make the most of it.
Lindemann flied out to right in the first. Florida scored 3 times in the first. Adams got it started with a bunt single. After the Lindemann out, Eccles with a 2-run home run. And then Cottrell walked and then scored on a ground out to put Florida in front again, a position that they've become very accustomed to. Lindemann can't catch up to that, and Avant has her first strikeout. 1-2-3 inning for the senior. 3-0 after 1.5.
Baseball is back.
April, beautiful spring night down in Athens. Florida on top of Georgia, 3-0. A couple of nationally ranked teams, and thoughts start dancing around in our head about NCAA tournament time. Why not? Because we're getting closer and closer to finding out what the tournament will look like, Amanda.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because things are going to be a little bit different. On April 26th, the 16 predetermined regional sites will be announced, and then from there, 8 super regionals will be played off of those 16 predetermined sites. And you know what, Eric? May 16th is a big day. The selection show is going to be on that day, and the bracket will be revealed so we can find out where the teams are headed to those 16 predetermined sites.
Here's Sarah Mosley to lead things off against Katie Chronister. Takes down low for a ball. Well, we've seen in basketball, women's basketball, the hub around San Antonio, bringing all 64 teams there. Men's tournament around Indianapolis with the 68 teams. Volleyball is starting up. They're going to be in Omaha with 48 teams. What do you think of this softball decision and how it looks? I think first and foremost, having a full field is the biggest takeaway. That's great news, that there's going to be a full field. Even if you take away the home field advantage for those top 16 seeds, having those 64 teams, that's something volleyball would love to have, I know, as Mosley goes down on strikes. First strikeout for Chronister. But having that full field has to be the biggest takeaway, I think.
Yeah, and so it's similar enough, but also different, right? Like the 16 sites of 4 is what we usually have, but also you start a season as a player and as a team with the hopes of being able to grab one of those top 16 national seeds, because if you do and your facilities can host, then you get to host a regional and teams will come to you. So that's how it varies for some people who are, you know, just watching softball for the first time or curious. Normally the sites aren't predetermined, but you can actually earn your ability to host a regional, and then the top 8 seeds, like the higher the seeds, would host the super regional if you win.
That's a strike to Bordeaux. It's now 1-1. Well, you'd have to feel as though I don't know, where's the cutoff? Top 12, 13, 14 teams in the country, maybe the top 20 all bid, and you're still going to be pretty close to the top 16 seeds getting to host. There could be those upsets in there as Bordeaux stays hot, slaps a single to right field. That's her 3rd hit of the series. She's aboard with 1 down.
Peyton Bordeaux has had a really great weekend for Georgia. Notice the infielders all on the left side playing the shift. She beats the shift and hits it on the right side of the field. There were 3 infielders playing to the left of second base, kind of like a MLB baseball type feel that you'll see the Florida defense do some shifts with sometimes.
So there are 4 freshmen in the bottom of the lineup tonight for Georgia. All 4 freshmen have started each game of the series. Bordeaux, the first of those 4 freshmen, with a single. I'll bring up Jada Kearney. So while we're having a couple conversations on the field, I have a moment to tell you that coming up on the SEC Network this week, Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, middle game of a 3-game series between Georgia and 7th-ranked Kentucky in Lexington. Kentucky looking to bounce back after dropping a series to Tennessee, as Tennessee took 2 out of 3. Something tells me that's exactly what you were going to say, Amanda.
I was just going to put a button on the predetermined sites thing because one thing we don't know, I feel like we're still going to be able to find out quite a bit of information as we go on, but one thing we do know is that the host will be picked irrespective of their postseason qualifications. So just something to consider, you know, when looking at the people who are bidding and who they're going to pick for the predetermined sites. It's going to get interesting. We'll see how this all works out. It's going to be new and unique.
One the count to center fielder Jada Kearney. Two and one. Kearney looking for her first hit of the series, 0 for 5. Georgia coming in at 292 as a team. Good for 8th in the SEC.
We've seen 2 different left-handed pitchers in this series too, with Riley Terlicek and then now Katie Chronister. Remember, they just played Ole Miss where they saw the lefty Anna Borgen pitch a lot. So they've gotten a lot of looks, a lot of ABs off of left-handed pitchers.
3-2. Georgia saw the righty in Hightower Saturday, right-hander in Lugo on Sunday. Now they get the lefty Chronister. Longley gets the force at second, but not in time to get Kearney 2 down.
Longley's been busy. You think she wants to share the ball a little bit? The 4th ball hit her way, and we're just in the 2nd inning. Nicely being able to get that ball to second base for the force out. No chance to be able to get that second out, but pretty sound defense there for the Gators.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Walton told us he's a trends guy. I think he meant more on how the lineup gets put together, but there's certainly a trend developing with the lefty Chronister against these right-hand hitting Georgia players, and 4 ground balls already to Longley at short. Now the one left-handed bat for Georgia will step in. It's Sydney Chambly, the freshman, at .312 on the season. Looked pretty good, but called a ball 2-0.
Speaking of shifts, sometimes we've seen Florida with a left-handed hitter, particularly a left-handed slapper, bring in their right fielder and come and play the infield.
Ground ball to third, another one to the left side, but this time Eccles as long in that first inning. 16 balls, 17 strikes. Much more efficient in the second.
Could tell that those 2 home runs, they were trying to work her on the inside corner. And if you go inside against Charlotte Eccles, you got to go hard in. Can't be missed out over the plate.
Misses with the change. It's 2-1. There's another one belted to straightaway center field, and she has done it again. 3rd home run in the last 2 days for Charlotte Eccles. 4-0 Gators.
This time, Charlotte Eccles finally hits one, and she doesn't have 2 strikes. She hits with leverage, a 2-1 count, and again, it's over the heart of the plate. If you work her on the inside corner, you have have to go hard in. There's just no room for error, no room for mistakes whenever Charlotte Eccles is up to bat, because she hunts those mistakes. She wants you to make a mistake like that so she can hit it over the fence.
Here's Cottrell, who walked and scored in the first. 8 runs batted in now for Eccles in the series. Two and one.
You know, Eric, this is a Florida offense that just progressively gotten better as the season has gone on, with just a big emphasis, Coach Walton talking to his team about just driving the ball. And you've seen them make a change, and I thought really make a big turn in their series against LSU. They swept that series. They looked really good on all sides of the ball in the circle, didn't make any errors on defense that weekend, and hit 374 as a team, just really dominated a weekend. And you're seeing that same type of offense here today. We saw it yesterday with the 17 runs, but was definitely missing in game one.
Aggregate runs in that LSU sweep, 21-7 for Florida. They had won 6 straight in the conference heading into this series, outscoring the 2 opponents 40-7. Won game 2 after dropping game 1 here against Georgia. That's Goddard punting it foul.
And this is what they did that series, winning those 3 games. It didn't make any errors. A .981 fielding percentage this season. Elizabeth Hightower pitched a couple of games, pitched 14 innings, only gave up 3 earned runs.
Line foul. Oh, 0-2 now to Goddard. Hit by a pitch in the first. Called strike 3. Second strikeout for Mary Wilson-Avent. 1 down. SEC baseball coming up on Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern from Oxford. The opener of a huge 3-game series between second-ranked Arkansas, third-ranked Ole Miss. SEC baseball also on the ESPN app, of course. You can watch from anywhere. Good times rolling in Fayetteville right now.
Yeah, and you know, Florida still has a shot at an SEC undefeated, so has control, but Florida in second place, as well as Alabama having a shot too. And look at Missouri there in 4th place. But point being, every game, every win matters so much when you're trying to catch up to a team that has yet to lose in conference play. So that that loss in game 1 on Saturday night could potentially be a big one when it comes down to winning a championship. And it's
Huge
been all
series.
Florida, Alabama too, by the way, Eric. 12 years in a row, it's either been Florida or Alabama to win the SEC regular season championship.
Alabama and Arkansas with a big weekend series coming up in Fayetteville starting on Friday. So there's a lot to be sorted out here in what will be a huge month of April as we gear up for the SEC tournament in Tuscaloosa. Down goes Hoover on strikes, back-to-back strikeouts, 2 down.
Love the rebound by Mary Wilson-Avent. The last time that she gave up a home run, she had a walk, hit by pitch, and walked the 3 batters that she faced after the home run to Eccles. Turning it around here in the 3rd inning after that home run, backing it up with 2 strikeouts.
Start strike one to Gels. Gels grounded out in the first, brought in a run. 4-0 now, Florida over Georgia. One to Gels.
You mentioned Alabama and Arkansas will play next weekend. That will be a big one when it comes to conference standings, but also the following weekend, Florida and Alabama will play each other.
Now Florida stepping out of conference play this coming weekend. They'll host USF for a couple on Wednesday. Then they've got a rematch with UCF before that April 16th and April 18th showdown at Alabama. Fly ball to Chamblee in left to retire the side. Charla Eccles swinging the hottest bat for the Gators right now.
Yeah, just Satch against Georgia, kind of taking the game into her own hands. It's her
3 hits for the Gators. 2 home runs by Charla Eccles to help them to this lead against Georgia, trying to take this deciding game 3 of this series between these rivals, the Bulldogs and the Gators.
Yeah, both hits for Georgia have been over to the right side of the field off of right-handed hitters. A lot of ground ball outs to the left side too that Katie Chronister has induced.
Chronister starts with strike one to the number 9 hitter, Ellie Armistead, freshman shortstop at .239 on the season. Oh, and 2.
Such a young Georgia team, Eric. We talked about that a little bit, especially with the bottom of their lineup, 6, 7, 8, and 9, all freshmen. They have a lot of freshmen on their roster and a lot of what Tony Baldwin says, freshmen and a half. I thought it was interesting when he was talking about how much they scrimmaged in the fall and early on because they have such a large roster size. What is it, 26, 27 that they had started with?
Armistead bloops it out to left field. That's Hoover with it. 1 down here in the 3rd. Hold that thought for 1 second, Amanda, because Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central, the SEC Equestrian Championship from the Georgia Equestrian Complex, just down the road from Turner Stadium, will be on the SEC Network. And also Ella, who's become the 3rd member of our broadcast team, if you haven't been with us all weekend. Bella is tuckered out because she's been alert and entertaining the fans there in Athens, but I think here on a Monday evening, she's just ready for a nap.
He's gotten a lot of pets, that's for sure.
It is Sydney Kuma's dog, and Sydney steps in, and normally Bella would be at attention here for Sydney's at-bats, but that just tells you how tired out Bella is. Well, back to your point about the scrimmaging, I thought it was interesting because, yeah, you got a full roster. We can have a scrimmage, but then when it was time to play other teams, the chemistry piece took a little while because you were so used to being on Team Red against the other team for Georgia in the scrimmage that, wait, we're one big happy family here. Let's play that way, and that sometimes takes a little while.
I thought that was really interesting when Coach Baldwin was talking about it because it can be so true, right? Like in the scrimmage, everybody is going to get playing time because you have, say, 26 on your roster, make it an even number. 13 go on one side, 13 go on the other side, red versus black. And you're playing, and you have a role on that team. But February 12th, he said, when the red and black team came together to make the Georgia team, had a different feel to it.
Slow roller once again to the shortstop, Longley. And Gels has it, shows it. 2 down.
Good movement by Sarah Longley to move up the middle, get her feet set, and make the throw. A perfect throw to Avery Gels over there at first base. She's gotten a workout, Sarah Longley has.
Two down here in the third for Savannah Sykes. Strike one.
And I think the final part to that is when you're playing together, learning your role, trying to build that team culture. And he talked about how the culture and chemistry piece has taken longer than the development piece.
That's hit to straightaway center field, drifting back, reaching up, and gone. Savannah Sykes with her 5th home run of the season gets Georgia on the board. It's 4-1.
Savannah Sykes is seeing the ball big in this game. It's a mistake over the heart of the plate on an 0-1 count, able to drive it right where it was pitched. We've seen Chronister work that inside corner with her curveball hard in against these right-handed hitters, but that one was just out over the middle of the plate. And she's gonna get the Savage chain, Eric. We're a little bit jealous about the Savage chain, but we saw it in game 1. Definitely didn't see too much action with the Savage chain in game 2, but it's back out.
This was the new addition to the Georgia team in the last week. I think when you're over 40 home runs as a team, you got to come up with a way to celebrate it, and Georgia has. They've got the Savage chain that's put around Savannah Sykes. Celebrate her home run.
Yeah, they just came up with it last weekend, and I thought you were going to say when you're over 40 years old, you can't wear the Savage chain, but you went the home run direction, so you threw me for a loop there.
Well, I think the thing is when you're over 40 years old, you no longer have the power to hit a home run, but you do have it in your power to wear the Savage chain because you can. No, Savannah's not having it with the Savage chain. She's like, okay, that's good. Take your photos, and we're moving on. Of course, Georgia's got the Savage helmet for baseball, the Savage pads for football. So now you got a Savage chain for softball.
Yeah.
I suggested that maybe the 7 Inning podcast crew could introduce their own sort of way to celebrate top comment, top take, top question, top response, something that you would just pop on there.
I'm into
something for you and the crew to think about. Ground ball ends the inning, not before Georgia gets on the board. Home run for Sykes, 4-1.
Yeah.
You've got that long O sound. My nickname is Frito, by the way, going way back. So if you're in a pinch, I think I could fit right in with that crew.
Oh,
Let me know.
Love that.
Let me know,
Frito.
Scarborough. Top 4, 4-1, Florida over Georgia.
We recorded on Wednesdays.
Okay. Yep, go
We
ahead.
recorded on Wednesdays, and it comes out on Thursdays. And we've been taking fans' questions, Eric. So just wanted to give a plug. If you have a question, send it to
Good
the 7
point.
Innings Podcast Twitter. We love answering your questions. All kinds of questions that we've answered. So we love it. Thank you for sending them in.
It's a great interactive show, and it really, truly is just the go-to spot for softball fans just to get caught up on what happened in the past week across the country. And I know you all love to give love to mid-majors and some of the schools that may not get all the attention of conferences like the SEC, and I love that. I love that we got so many players all over the country sacrificing so much to play these games and lousy weather and going through the COVID testing and social distancing and wearing their masks and trying to be as safe and responsible as they can be, yet still playing the game they love. And you guys have done a wonderful job to showcase all those players, not just this year, but the last couple of years.
It's fun. And I think what's even more fun is that we each live in a different region. So kind of each region is represented too.
coast to coast. Got you covered on the 7 Innings podcast. Longley with a leadoff walk, and here is Cheyenne Lindsay, who's had a really good series for Florida.
Yeah, we've seen her power slap and also just keep her feet still and swing away. Able to drive the ball up the middle of the field, be able to have that pull power as well. But with runners in scoring position, she really stepped up yesterday out of the 9 spot.
Grounded out to second in the second. Now 3 for 7 in the series. Was 3 for 4 on Sunday with those 5 runs batted in. Chop up the middle, but it bounces off of Armistead. Heading over to the third is Longley. Runners on the corners with nobody out for Florida.
It's good base running by Longley. This is a really hard infield and can create some pretty big hops, and just hops off of Armistead, and Longley is going to read it right away as she goes into second base. Understanding, she plays shortstop herself, that one gets away. She's going to be able to take an extra 60 feet and get herself closer to scoring.
It's like Armistead got caught in no man's land there a little bit too, Amanda, because she wanted to stay even with the bag and try to make a play and make a double play. And that's something that the Georgia staff has talked about. You mentioned Tony Baldwin. They like to have that kind of aggressive mindset, make a play. Where they've struggled a little bit is making the routine plays look routine. So that one ate up Armistead. It's an error. Lindsay now moves into second, and a slow roller to Avent. She'll shovel it over to first for the out, but Longley scores to make it 5-1.
Situational hitting there by Hannah Adams to put the ball in play, work it more toward the right side of the field, and be able to bring a run across.
Second RBI of the series for Adams, and here is Lindemann with Lindsay moving over to third. Time called here for a Florida conference, and Georgia will have a conference as well. Gives me a chance to remind you about the matchup on the SEC Network coming up Sunday, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, middle game of that 3-game series between Georgia and 7th-ranked Kentucky, taking place in Lexington. We started to mention before about Kentucky coming off that series at Tennessee. That was a big weekend for Tennessee. Really felt like they needed to win a series, and they did so thanks to Ashley Rogers, who's been outstanding. Little dribbler. They come to the plate with the throw, and throwing in the first, it gets away from well, it's a tag play at home, and with Lindsay's speed, going to be tough to grab her on the back door here.
Yeah, Fincher made the right play. Lindsay goes in standing up. A check swing off the bat of Lindemann, and communication on the Georgia infield just snuck in there. So much speed. Again, a ground ball toward the right side is going to be able to score a runner at third base oftentimes.
So scored a fielder's choice for Lindemann. Credit her with an RBI as Lindsay scores.
And it's a quick decision by a first baseman too, because Lindemann was just right there in front of her, but it would have been a bang bang play at home if it would have been sped up just a little bit faster. They potentially could have gotten the out. And when you're already down by 4 or 5 runs, you want to try to keep them from scoring, so just taking that out right in front of you.
Kistler pitch running for Lindemann. I wanted to follow up on that. Do you think going to the plate was the right decision there for Fincher, or should she have?
Now that they're making her work, taking a lot of first pitches, taking some first pitch strikes too, just seeing a lot more pitches.
Started in that first inning. Lindemann was safe at first. Kistler ran for her. She's at third right now. And Hoover pops it out to left, and that will do it. 2 more runs cross for Florida, up by 5 at the end of 3.5 in Athens.
Baseball is back, and T-Mobile is your ticket to the
big storylines in the SEC. Another one that comes to my mind is Ole Miss, and just how they've exceeded expectations. They're playing really well. They're finding themselves in the middle of the SEC standings, and they have that first-year head coach, Jamie Traxel. Their energy, their mentality, their defense is what's really impressed me. Alabama's pitching, Eric, just struggling a little bit. 9 home runs that they've given up in their last 4 games.
I would think a lot of people would say, I wouldn't worry too much about Alabama's pitching straightening itself out. You know, that staff is so strong, so deep. Fincher goes down on a knee and laces one foul.
I think this is what you were talking about, Eric. Best start since that 2009 Gators team. Every team that you see listed here that was off to this great start ended up going on to win the SEC regular season championship. So what will happen to Arkansas this year? Still to be determined.
2-1 the count now to Lacey Fincher, who grounded out to short in the first. As we mentioned, Arkansas hosting Alabama. 3-game series this coming weekend. Alabama coming off a series sweep of Texas A&M. Arkansas sweeping Auburn. And for all the home runs and the talk of Burnside and everything that Arkansas has done at the plate, their staff ERA is tops in the SEC at 1.42.
Yeah, Mary Half has had a really strong year. She's already pitched 124 innings for them with a 1.07 ERA. Autumn Storms has been solid too, 1.51 ERA. Those are their aces right there, Half and Storms. And Jenna Bloom has done a nice job too to give their staff some depth as well, Eric. But they're going to be tough to beat. I can't wait to watch that series this weekend against Alabama. And, you know, that's a tough matchup considering the amount of home runs that Alabama has given up as of late. Now they're going to go up against the best home run hitting team in the SEC and try to keep the ball in the ballpark.
First walk issued by Chronister as Fincher leads off the 4th with a walk. And here is Sarah Mosley. You mentioned Ole Miss being at 500 in the SEC. They avoided a sweep in Baton Rouge with a couple of home runs in the 8th inning in the series finale this weekend, knocking off LSU 9-4. Ole Miss will host South Carolina, looking for their first conference win this weekend. Down to third for Juan. Adams turns it, double play, 5-4-3, 2 down.
Just a well-executed double play. Charlotte Eccles takes an angle, gets her momentum going to second base, knowing she's going to take the throw over to that direction of the field, and then a quick turn by Adams. That was pretty.
Here's Bordeaux, who singled in the second rather.
Eric, you mentioned too those losses that Ole Miss has had this season in conference play. When you go back and look at their losses, there are so many close games, so many 1-run losses, 2-run losses. Just shows you that they're a team that's in every game. They're in it. And they'll take some teams to extra innings. And you mentioned that win that they ended up getting. They're a tough team. I've been really impressed watching Ole Miss play.
Another team that seems to be finding their stride a little bit is Mizzou, Amanda. They will host LSU this weekend. Mizzou getting the series sweep of South Carolina. They've won 4 in a row to move up to 4th place in the SEC. Ground ball back up the middle. Another hit for Bordeaux. She's had an excellent series against Florida. 4 hits in the series for the freshman catcher.
Yeah, Bordeaux's just been on it. I think she's loving all these pitches on the inside corner that she saw out of the hand of Hightower, and now Chronister driving that pitch right back up the middle and getting her barrel down to it.
Here's Jada Kearney. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the second. Big hack at strike 1. Freshman from Columbus, New Jersey, has picked up 1 SEC Freshman of the Week award. That was after the Mizzou series. 4 for 8 in that series with a homer. Grounded wide at third. 1-2.
It's a game of inches. You know that Kearney wanted that one. You know if you're in the Georgia dugout, you wanted that one. Looks so close. Just to the left of the bag.
Katie Chronister has given up 1 run on 4 hits. Wanted that one, didn't get it. It's 2-2.
Yeah, she wanted that one just as much as Kearney wanted that foul ball down the line. Kearney working in the front of the box, trying to beat that ball before it drops. Just like that. And as a pitcher, when hitters are moving in the box, if Kearney's up and Bordeaux is a little bit back, if you have to mess with your release point a little bit, you'll sometimes see different hitters in the lineup mix up where they're standing in the box.
Back up the middle. Back-to-back base hits for the freshmen Bordeaux and Kearney with 2 down.
And then by taking that pitch before, that was a little bit too low, you make Chronister bring it up just a hair, all the while you're still looking down the zone, knowing that it's going to come from your hips down or even mid-thigh down. That's where Chronister lives. That's where you can hone in as a hitter. And Bordeaux and Kearney taking advantage of those pitches lower in the zone, driving them right back up the middle.
First hit of the series for Kearney. Now 1 for 7. And that one is slapped and grabbed by Eccles to retire the side. Florida up by 5 heading to the 5th. This is a team that has played with the lead for the most part over the last 10 games, trailing in just 2 games in the last 12 if you include tonight. Still time for Georgia here as we play in the top half of the 5th inning. 2-0 to Gels. Avan approaching 100 pitches. Two and one.
Kind of cool, Eric. You know, we oftentimes see these coaches and the red and black and the orange and blue, but Tony Baldwin of Georgia and Coach Tim Walton got to coach together in the junior women's national team, the under-9, and talk the game all the while, of course, having fun and traveling and doing all the things you get to experience the city in a new place.
And of course, winning a gold medal, which is nice little bonus. Longley is down on strikes. That's strikeout number 5 for Mary Wilson Avan. 2 down.
He's freezing her on the the outside corner, had a good amount of plate, what it looked like from our vantage point there. Surprised to see Longley take that one. A couple of looking strikeouts, in fact, for Florida that have had a lot of plate on them that they just struck out looking and not even swinging. Eric, you're not going to believe this roster, though, of the players that they had. Lexi Kilfoyle, Montana Fouts, Taylor Pleasance, all from the SEC. Skylar Wallace, who transferred from Alabama to Florida.
Pretty good roster. Yeah, our Rally Cap team's back together, by the way. Madison Shipman will have you covered on softball starting Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Another season of Rally Cap. Breakdown of the week that was in softball and baseball, and a look ahead. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central here on the SEC Network. Yeah, that roster, who's who. When you take a look around teams playing softball right now across the country.
Megan Framo, another pitcher on that team. That's a pretty good staff, wouldn't you say?
Yes. 2-1 to Lindsay. A little soft liner to the right fielder Fields, who has it. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Second time she's done.
Fun one's coming up.
Of course, the big thing to navigate for so many programs is staying healthy, staying COVID-free, being able to continue to play games. We've seen the problems that UCLA has had, the last 8 games being canceled. They are getting ready for a series with the Ducks this weekend. You hope that can be played. That's down low. It's 2-0 to Armistead leading off the 5th. And conversation in the circle here.
She looked sharp, too, in Game 2 on Sunday. Gonna throw a curve to both sides of the plate. It was her curve outside to right-handed hitters in particular that she seemed to rely on, as well as her changeup. She has the ability to throw that changeup in any count with consistency.
So Chronister goes 4, gave up 5 hits, 1 run. It was earned. It was the solo home run by Savannah Sykes in the 3rd inning. Walk and a strikeout. So the lefty heads out and the righty heads in for Florida.
So great about this Florida pitching staff and a lot of staffs that you'll see across the country is that each one of the pitchers have their own different unique look that they really step into to complete the full staff. And we saw Lugo throw a lot outside of the right-handed hitters, but she does have the ability to work the other side of the plate too, like we just saw her offer that first pitch to Armistead.
There's a strike at 3-1. As Amanda mentioned, Lugo very good yesterday in her 5 innings, giving up the 3 hits, striking out 4, did not issue a walk. Was staked a 3-0 lead and just started throwing strikes once she got out there yesterday, but can't find the strike zone here and ends up walking Armistead to lead off the 5th.
Right where you want to be too, if you're Georgia, getting that leadoff hitter on, which has been not something that we've seen them do a lot. In fact, the entire series, that's only their 2nd leadoff hitter to get on. They did it last inning as well with another leadoff walk. You're right at the top of your order, right where you want to be.
Here's Kuma, who grounded to short twice against Chronister. Ground ball outs for Chronister for the Gators. Giving way to Lugo here in the 5th with a 5-run Florida lead. Big rip. There goes the runner. Skip down and dug out by Longley with the tag. Caught stealing. Cottrell to Longley. One away.
If you want to see a throw that is on the money, just check out this play right here. Actually ends up, I feel like it bounced it. We're doing this remotely, but didn't bounce. Sorry. So many different looks.
It took one long skip.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Yeah, it took one long skip. But those longer skips, as you know, Amanda, the longer skips sometimes are a little tougher to handle, but give Longley credit. She was right there ready for it.
I thought in first look that throw was just on a line right to her glove, but it does make more sense now and seeing it a couple of times that it took that little skid in. So props to Longley for being able to field that ball and help out her catcher and make the tag.
Swung on and hit to right. And that will do it for Georgia in the 5th. Snagged by Avant. Self-defense for the out. Adams is retired, 1 down.
Got to be on your toes. You're only about, 38 feet away from the time that you release the ball. This is all reaction. And just trust in being in a fielding position after you let go, although she's kind of forward on her front leg. It's a big reason why a lot of pitchers you see wear the mask. Am I calling that right? Or am I just thinking of COVID mask?
Oh no, Amanda.
I know.
No.
Sorry.
No, just a face mask. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a
you'll
face
see a
mask.
You'll see a lot of pitchers wear those just for protection. Because if that gets a little bit higher, you never know. Want that protection there for your face.
that just shows you we've been in the COVID era for too long. If you just if there's any sort of covering on the face, I'm just thinking it's a face mask. These softball masks have been around for a long time, but you are just so ready for COVID to be over. I got it. There you go.
Different masks.
Those are the masks you're now a little bit too used to. Strike to Kendall Lindemann. It's 1-2. Lindemann 0 for 3 tonight. Go ahead, Amanda.
It really is just all reaction when one is hit back at you like that. And I mean,
single to center field with 1 down for Lindemann. Well, I mean, you have to, on your follow through, as you well know, you have to have your glove in position to make a play. Now, if it's lined right back into your glove, so be it. But you got to use that and have those quick reflexes, because as you mentioned, you're talking about less than 40 feet away at the time of contact.
Well, and too, coming from a pitcher perspective, if you leave one over the heart of the plate before it even gets there. So you're going to be intuitively a little bit more ready and prepared for it because you know that you missed your spot.
In that split second, that's enough time for you to process the fact that this could be coming back faster than when it left my hand.
You can feel it. As a pitcher if it's going to be a good pitch or not. You just know.
Two 2-0 to Eccles. 2 for 2 tonight, couple of home runs. 2-run shot in the first, solo shot in the third, also walked in the fourth.
Talked about working Eccles more off the plate, just little to no room for air over the middle. And it's because, too, she takes pitches that are off the plate. You can see Mary Wilson Avant trying to go inside hard, like we talked about, Eric, in her first at bat, trying to go outside, but it's just too much on either side, and she has such a good eye.
Well, as we saw in the last 2 plate appearances for Eccles, she wasn't going to mess around with Charlotte Eccles anymore tonight after home runs in the first 2 at-bats. Back-to-back walks, 2 on for Cottrell. That one is crushed, but well fouled. Couple of walks tonight for the catcher. Walked and scored in the first, walked in the third, struck out in the fourth. Gets away, Lindemann and Eccles will advance. 2 in scoring position with 1 down here in the 6th.
And tries to work that inside corner, just gets past Bordeaux. Both runners are going to advance 60 feet closer to scoring. Just hasn't quite had the same command of that changeup, and also they're just not using as much, whether they're not wanting to use it as much because it's more of a strategy or because she's not throwing it as well. Will be up to Mary Wilson Avan, Rachel Fico, but just doesn't quite have the same command of that pitch as we saw on Saturday night.
Popped up, heading out of play. And we'll do it again. Three in the first, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth for the Gators, who come in ranked 5th in the country, trying to take 2 out of 3 from Georgia on the road.
It's a good eye. I mean, that just kills you as a pitcher because you make such a good pitch and the hitter doesn't swing at it. They don't bite at it. In fact, the take is just such a strong take. It doesn't even look like Cottrell even had to second guess it.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat. Cottrell's season high, Avant's season high for pitches is 135. There's the changeup to get the strikeout. 2 down.
You're right. This is it. Look how much she fools Cottrell. Way ahead of it, throws it on the inside corner. That's what I love about these Georgia pitchers. All of them have a really good changeup that they'll work on both sides of the plate. They just won't stay on the outside corner with it. Rachel Fico has the ability to call a great game when her pitchers are throwing strikes.
To your point, Amanda, Florida had not seen the changeup as much, but you know it's there. And Avant threw a really good one to get the strikeout. Pinch hitter for Florida will be Jordan Matthews.
That's it again, another changeup. This time for a called strike instead of a swinging one. That's a pitch earlier in the game too. She just looked like she was trying to force a little bit, just didn't have as good a control as what we saw the other night.
One and two now the count to Matthews. Hitting for Goddard, who was 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch twice. Pitch number 130 of the night. 1-2 delivery. Soft liner grabbed by Sykes to retire the side. 15th ranked LSU taking on 20th ranked Missouri. You think of power trios, you may think of 70s hair bands, or you may think of you, me, and Bella as a power trio. But when we're talking about softball in the SEC, it's Burnside, Malkin, and Gibson for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that those 3 players for Arkansas, oh, hi, Bella, have hit more home runs this season combined than 7 SEC teams? I mean, just what a year. The ball is flying off of the bat of the Arkansas Razorbacks. And the thing is, too, Eric, like, that is a team that doesn't go away. If they're down in late innings, they don't seem worried. They seem like they're having a lot of fun playing the game, too. You can tell that that team really likes each other. If they don't, they do a really good job faking it.
I think, too, when you can swing the bats like they can, you feel like you're never out of a game.
Yeah.
And that's
true.
The mindset. Swung on and lifted back to shallow center field. Lindsey comes on to retire Fields, 1 down. And I think with Arkansas, too, got to talk baseball, because Friday night, 7 o'clock on the SEC Network, second-ranked Razorbacks will take on Ole Miss. Big SEC baseball showdown on Friday. Think about Arkansas, too. You know what's coming. As Fincher swings and misses, they're up there to swing the bats. Their stolen base numbers this year, would you like to share them?
I think they have 3. The last we checked, 3
they
for
are
5,
3
right?
for 5. So the run game is not a big part of their offense. Swinging the bats certainly are. Big
You
piece
know their
of it.
strength. I haven't talked a ton about Missouri, but Missouri can sure hit the long ball too. Their hitting coach
Yes.
Chris Malvo does a good job with them. Kimberly Wirt has 11 home runs. Hattie Moore, 13.
As a team, 52 homers, which is second to Arkansas 63. And the lights are out in Athens. We're talking about all this power at Arkansas and at Missouri, and the power goes out in our softball game tonight.
Oh, man.
Now, there's a lot of light given off by the scoreboard in left field, but I don't think there's enough light to keep playing here, so we're going to put it on pause for a moment. So Fincher with the check, the tag, and you know, Lacey's got a lot of power. She's like, you know what, can we just erase what just happened there and kill the lights?
I know you're not going to believe this, but this is the second game that I've called in about a year and a half's time that the lights have gone out during the game. It also happened in Clearwater at the St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational Tournament, you know, the ESPN tournament.
Sure.
Between Washington and South Carolina. So you might think, wow.
Georgia and Florida, perhaps.
It's wild. What's tricky to me is that the scoreboard is on, but nothing else. And, huh.
Well, I'll say this. Players are loving it. They look like little kids out there right now. Gators are having a good time.
Oh, boy.
Georgia's having a good time. And somebody's looking to see if the power bill was paid in Athens. So as they find the delay after the lights went out, but they got them back up and running, and we are ready to resume with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Yeah, in the meantime, we had a really nice rock concert and dance, and there was a petting zoo with Bella. I mean, it was just a free-for-all. Really good time with the lights out.
Mosley's 0 for 2, struck out in the second, grounded into a double play in the fourth. One. So back at 8:54 p.m. when we last played, Jaden Fields had flied out to center, and that was followed by a Lacey Fincher strikeout. That's when the lights went out. So the 23-minute delay. And then resuming with Mosley facing Lugo. Katie Chronister started for Florida. Before she even stepped in the circle, her teammates had spotted her to a 3-0 lead. Adams, Eccles, and Cottrell all scoring. Eccles, the big hit with a 2-run homer in the first. Eccles followed with a solo home run in the third. Georgia got on the board in the bottom half of the third inning on a Savannah Sykes home run. 2 in the fourth for Florida. Longley and Lindsay at the bottom of the order scoring, and that's where we stand right now, 6-1 in the bottom half of the sixth inning.
It's a great catch-up, Eric. Well done.
You know, it was only 23 minutes in the grand scheme of things. That doesn't sound like a long time. Like, that would be a really short rain delay, but it felt like a long time because maybe the music they were playing wasn't my jam, and, you know, just trying to get back to softball mode here.
You mean Backstreet's Back and the Cupid Shuffle? Those songs aren't your jam?
I know it sounds very shocking to hear, but... Three and two to Mosley. Grounded to short. It's been a busy night for Longley. She's been very good at shortstop. And that will do it. Half of the seventh, and mount a comeback in the bottom half of the seventh. Right now down to Florida 6-1.
Justin did have a really busy power outage break, by the way,
Yes,
taking a lot of pictures.
Who posed for more photos with fans in this weekend series? Justin Fields or Bella the Wonder Dog?
I actually think it might be Bella.
Hoover offered at it. Bella had a very busy 23-minute power delay as well because there was music playing, dancing. They were giving her treats. She was up on her feet, and now she's like, I'm done. I'm out. Turn the lights back out. I'm ready for bed. 1-2 the count to Jamie Hoover.
She sits right behind home plate, too. I don't know if anybody's actually noticed that other than me. But,
other than you on the first pitch of the weekend.
She's directly behind home plate. You can find Bella.
Hoover bloops it into foul ground. So that's pitch number 135 for Mary Wilson Avent, who has done all she can here tonight. After 6 pitchers through yesterday for Georgia, that matches her season high that she had against Mizzou on March the 21st. Hoover fights it off and sends it into right field. First hit of the night for Jamie Hoover. She's now 1 for 3 with a single and a walk.
And another 2-strike hit. Lindemann had one in the 6th. Now Hoover battles within this at bat and just finds a way to get her barrel to this inside pitch, shooting it the other way, shortening up a bit. Only 3 for 13 with 2 strikes today, but seems like it's more with their at bats. One of those 2-strike hits was a home run by Eccles.
And really, they cashed in quite a bit, as you pointed out yesterday, as part of their 17-run day against Georgia. A record for runs allowed by Georgia in that program's history. But quite a few 2-strike hits and big hits in that win yesterday. Gels takes strike 2.
Just so defeating for a pitcher and for a defense to think, all right, I'm ahead, I'm 1-2, and then Florida takes a pitch to work it to 2-2, and then maybe gets a hit on that 2-2 count or works it to a full count and gets a hit.
Gels, 1 hop to Fincher, who gets the lead runner, 1 away.
You know, Lacey Fincher, before she got to Georgia, played shortstop and basically can play any other position, but this is her getting to Georgia, it was her first time to play first base. Just
Now
another. Go ahead.
No, you had a chance to talk to her before this series, and I think you were really looking forward to it because assistant coach Tony Baldwin said that she's so Southern, she makes most Southern people sound like Northerners. And you had a chance to have a little conversation with her about her hometown, and it's going to go off the glove of Fincher. Now Fincher throwing over, but unable to hold on to it is Armistead, and everybody's going to be safe here for Florida.
You know, Eric, at our very simplest form, defense is just a game of catch and throw. Miscatch there, and then a throw and a miscatch all the way over the other side, third base. Good base running by Avery Gels to get herself first to third. She's going to be out if she would have caught it. Catch and throw, game of defense.
So Wilkie hitting for Longley is safe. Gels over the third. One down with Lindsay, the scheduled batter. Longley will take the spot at first, and here is Lindsay. Lindsay 0 for 3 tonight, reached on an error and scored in the fourth. Blocked by Bordeaux. Longley takes second on the pitch in the dirt. 2-0 to Lindsay. 2-1.
You know, kind of an interesting schedule that Florida has coming up. They play USF in a doubleheader midweek on Wednesday. They'll play Softball Canada on Saturday at their place. And then next,
Yep.
the home field advantage.
Lindsay lifts a fly ball to deep right center field. Moving under it is Kearney. Tagging up and scoring is Gels. 7-1 Gators.
It's a really deep fly ball. Avery Gels didn't even have to try to leave early, like whatsoever at all. Knew she was going to be able to get to home all day. Good tag on the backside runner Longley to go second to third on that as well.
That's 6 runs batted in this weekend for the number 9 hitter, Cheyenne Lindsay. Lindsay with a big weekend. Eccles with a big run-producing weekend. Eccles has 8 runs batted in this weekend. That's Hannah Adams. A little soft one, but with Adams' speed, she'll beat it out. It's an infield single and an RBI for Hannah Adams. 8-1 Gators.
She's had a pretty quiet weekend at the top of the order for the Gators. Goes up and swings early in the count, hits it off the end of her bat, but stays on it long enough to send Armistead back behind second base. And just with the speed of Hannah Adams, she was for sure going to score. Longley just waiting to see that down and score from third base. Although there were 2 outs, so she should have been running on the swing, or on the hit.
2 for 5 for Adams tonight, Amanda, and 3 for 10 for the series with 3 runs batted in. Quiet maybe by her standards, came into this game at 457. But I agree, first couple of games, not a big factor, but in the middle of things today. Fincher has the pop-up off the bat of Lindemann to retire the side. 2 more. Last chance for Georgia, down 8-1 to Florida as the Gators try to take 2 out of 3 in this weekend series with their rivals to the north. Natalie Lugo in relief of Katie Chronister. will face Peyton Bordeaux, who's had an excellent series for Georgia, the freshman catcher. 2 for 2 tonight, 4 for 5 this weekend with a home run. We'll try to get things started for Georgia. Takes ball 1.
Yeah, she's been a bright spot for them. Only player in their lineup to have a hit in every single game in this series.
One and 1. Georgia steps out of conference on Wednesday. They'll be at Kennesaw State. Their next SEC series will be this coming weekend when they travel to Lexington to take on Kentucky. Called strike 3. Lugo gets the strikeout, 1 down.
Yeah, Natalie Lugo has pitched really well this weekend for Florida. She has been efficient, thrown strikes when she needs to, been able to work her changeup in any count. She's looked good.
Ball 1 to Kearney.
You can see, Eric, how Florida has the ability to have a different pitcher step up in a bigger role whenever their team needs them, or whatever it's a better matchup for a different pitcher. We saw Hightower pitch last weekend, 14 innings against LSU, and get a couple of wins there. And we've seen Hightower not pitch as much this weekend, but Lugo come in, get a start, come in relief, and get more innings than any of the other pitchers. Also saw Riley Trilicek come in and get a couple of quality innings.
Four-pitch walk to Kearney with 1 out here in the 7th. She's aboard for the 3rd time tonight. And now bring up Sydney Chambly. Chambly's 0 for 2, grounded to 3rd in the 2nd, lined out to 3rd in the 4th. Tied for the SEC lead in triples with 6. Looking for her first hit of the series. Down the count 0-1.
Kind of been hard for Georgia in the series to string some hits together. Most of the runs have come from the long ball.
Grounded off the base runner. 2 outs.
But did indeed hit her, and she's going to be out.
Chambly at first, now 2 down. And Ellie Armistead swinging a miss for strike 1. Armistead walked in the 5th and was caught stealing. Cottrell throwing to Longley. Slow roller. Lugo lets it go. Eccles over to first. And that will do it. After dropping game 1, Florida comes back and takes game 2 and game 3, outscoring Georgia 25-2 in the Sunday and Monday games.
Yeah, they definitely answered back after that game 1 loss and just really was a completely different team in game 2 and game 3. Pitching was strong, defense was strong. They just didn't hurt themselves, didn't beat themselves a lot this weekend with the exception of that game 1.
And Florida using a lot of their arms this weekend. Well, we had a little bit of everything here this weekend.